Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Black. Welcome back to Black Made Media. Today we're going to do a recap of Season 8, Episode 2 of Ready to Love. This one starts off with Brandon going home. All of us knew that Brandon wasn't going to make it, right? We knew Brandon was on borrowed time. Brother has 4 kids, been divorced twice. And in his last divorce it's only been recently from like the last 6 months. So what are you asking these women to buy into, Brandon? You're not giving them anything positive to buy into. So for that reason, you're going home. Habibi was excited that he wasn't going home. He felt like he wouldn't have nothing to worry about. But later on, we did find out that he did. We'll talk more about Habib later. All right, so next up, Tommy announces that the Ready to Love brunch is about to take place. Happens every season, second episode, like clockwork. This year, I'm watching what everyone's wearing, going in. I can't tell what the weather is like there. What is it, cold? Is it hot? What is it? I'm seeing turtlenecks. I'm seeing leather jackets. I'm seeing capris, culottes, open toes. I don't know, scarves. I'm seeing everything. So I don't know what the weather is like there. So I was confused from that point. But something interesting did take place. Quentin did say that he was looking forward to talking to Janelle. You got Janelle alone. Ask Janelle a good question. What do you need in a relationship? Good, solid question, right? She says, I like big gestures, grand gestures. I need to see something big. I want to see something big. Of course, the conversation goes sexually. And see, this is what I'm saying. We simply can't have 5 minutes of conversation without it being sexual when we say we're serious. This is the reason why people say that there's something wrong with the dating pool, right? Because it seems like we just can't have a decent conversation anymore. You know, whether she meant it that way or not, it could have been worded differently to put his mind, to take his mind there. And then he could have not bought into it and did a little gestures with his head or whatever. But all in all, man, we just got to have solid conversations with each other, man. Try to get to know the person. Sex will come, man. All that love stuff, that will come. But you just got to be patient and wait for it to come, wait for it to happen naturally, man. That's what's hurting us big time. Okay, up next we have Tommy come in, tell everybody a very unnecessary speech, giving them the speech about this is where you can find love. It's all up to you. You want to hurt yourselves. You don't take it seriously. This, only you can prevent forest fires. That type of speech that was going on. But anyway, we can move over to Marvin. Marvin, to me, I don't think is ready to love. I think that him coming out saying the things he does, he's done love dungeons and carrying on and all that. I think that he's really looking for someone to buy into what he does. One or two things: buy into what he does, or he's looking for someone to do those experiments on. Or he's looking to build his audience. I don't buy the fact that Marvin is ready to love, because it's a topic of conversation. Like for me, there have been plenty of times that, if I'm out on a date with someone or dating someone, I don't mention that I'm a relationship advisor, because it starts to become a conversation surrounding that. I don't want that to happen. I want you to get to know me for who I am, for what I'm about. But for Marvin, I think if he just said he's an author and then brought on the other stuff later, they would have got to know him and his personality first before what he did, so he wouldn't be so much attached to what he did, and there'll be some separation there between the job he does and the man who he is. So I think he went about that the wrong way. But him doing that did pique a lot of women's interest. But if you notice, Marvin was not invited on any of these group dates that are coming up that I'll be talking about. There has to be a reason for that, right? Now, what I like about Jessica is that with Marvin, she came straight out, was like, nah, this is not going to be a good fit for me. It's not going to work for me. But Unique seems to be captivated by this man for whatever reason. And Marvin came out and said that he likes the way that he makes her feel, all googly eyed, all intense and feeling, weak in the knees for him. He likes that. Why do you like that, Marvin? What have you given Unique to make you feel that way? Because in general relationships, it takes time to get to that place. It takes time to get a woman to trust you, to be open with you about how she feels, her insides, how the way you make her feel, how you make her desire you. That takes time to get there, not just a week of dating or a couple of days of dating. That's a more of an intimate vibe than you make me feel a certain way when I'm around you type of thing. That takes that time to gradually grow to that point. So for you to say that you like that and you know you haven't done anything to make that happen, longevity wise, then it's like, I don't buy it. I just not buying what Marvin's selling. I don't know how you ladies feel. Put it in the comments. Let me know how you feel about Marvin. All right. Then comes Habibi. Habibi gives you good and bad. He gives you a mixture, gives you up and down. Like, okay, good for Habibi, bad, no Habibi. What were you thinking, bruh? That's how I felt with this guy, this whole episode. Good thing, cool. You told Tequila that you're into her. You professed it. You let her know, hey, I'm into you. I'm digging you, right? Nothing's wrong with that. That's good. But why do you then go to Sierra and ask her, what did you do to mess up your relationship? Like, that's very accusatory. So you can't do that on dates. So any guys watching this, don't follow Habibi's train of thought when it comes to dating, because it's horrible. All right, so now up next we have Kira briefly speaking on this. She talked about BDE. You guys know what BDE is when it comes to Phil. She asked Phil, you know what they say about Leos, right? She said, they have BDE. Why are we talking about these at this point? You know what I'm saying? Or even the energy that they provide. Just say they're masculine. Just say, they're a man's man, they're macho, whatever. Find other ways to convey your thoughts besides making them sexual. So, because it's not going to win, end of the day. All right, guys. Next comes up, Chris tells Lee that English is his second language. And then he spoke his first language. He said, Ima no ma. Okay. And that means you are very beautiful. Yeah. Her response was, oh, I like that. Now, you can tell with a response like that, oh, I like that. It wasn't a thank you, you're very handsome too, or thank you, I like the way you look too. It usually is like a handshake there. It's like a give and then take. It's like a back and forth. That didn't take place during this interaction. So to me, I don't think Chris is who Lee's really looking at, for real, just by the response alone. But I am very disappointed at Chris. He came looking like he was ready to overthrow the government. He had the black on black militia gear on. Chris, man, I was like, brother, no, the scarf, the black leather shirt, the black turtleneck, the black ripped jeans, bro, you was doing a lot. So I think it's a no-go for Chris and Lee. I just want him to do better when it comes to his dressing. I need for him to give up with those dreams of having a full beard. He needs to let that die a slow death, because my brother, if it does not connect here, it ain't there. You don't have it. It's not going to. And he needs to have a clean shave. I've never seen him with a clean shave. Tight lineup, but the shave is missing. Chris, if you're watching this video, brother, let it go. Let it go. All right, so up next we had Jessica asking Mariée if she can have a moment of transparency, and she let it out that she can't cook. Okay, fine. That's fine. You can't cook. Most women are in this scenario, in this category where they can't cook. It's not even about you telling a man that you can't cook. It's about the fact, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to get a cookbook, try a few recipes, and see if you can get a hang of it? That's what matters to us as men. So it's okay that you don't know how to cook, but when it comes to that family environment, when it comes to being together, are you willing to try? Are you willing to learn? Same thing for a guy. If you are willing to learn how to cook, that means a lot to your partner. It's all about effort. All right, now up next, Red tries to talk things out with Unique. I'm trying to understand why, because Unique has told this man already she's not interested. So what are you trying to do, brother? Red, let that go. That's only one vote. One vote. You did more harm talking to her again than just letting it go. Because now when you talk to her again, now everybody's on that bandwagon of Red is not the guy or whatever. So come on now. Just let's do better, man. Recognize that. Fellas, you got to recognize when a woman's not into you, no matter how attractive she is to you, you have to let it go. If it's meant for you, it'll come back. And vice versa. If it's meant for you, it will come back. All right, here we go. Group date number 1. All right, so Tequila invites Kira, Phil, Red, Janelle, and Habibi out for a group date. Immediately, Tequila asks Phil, tell him, hey, I got a bone to pick with you. You know, why haven't we been talking more? What happened to the connection? Phil came right out, very honest, very bluntly, and saying, hey, our conversation was about sex. I wasn't feeling it. That didn't vibe with me. And this is what I'm saying. When you have someone who's intentionally there to be with you, to get to know you better, to find true love, that sex talk is not going to get you there. It's just not, because it's negative towards the goal. And Tequila didn't have anything to say to come back on that. So Janelle just mysteriously walked in. And when Janelle walked in, she turned everything over to Janelle as far as, trying to ask Janelle questions about what she's doing. She took no accountability of her wrongdoings by having a conversation about that. Hopefully it's a lesson learned that, okay, don't do this, with every guy, because you don't know these guys. You have to get to know them first. So she asked Janelle, who you feeling? She says, I'm feeling Red. And Tequila said, oh, I'm feeling them too. And she says, very cute of you. That right there was slinging mud if I've ever seen it before. Janelle, her behavior this episode was something that I was just not feeling, because she was doing a lot, even with Kira. When Red was walking up on Kira and holding her close and this, that, and other, she's getting on Kira and talking bad about Kira, calling her a little girl and this and other, just slinging insults. And it's very immature to do that. For a woman to do that, I'm just not interested in. I don't care how pretty you can be or whatever the case is. I can't be interested in someone that does that, and we're grown men and women in this world. Also, you got to look at Red. How's Red moving? Red is picking up Carol and taking her here, taking her there. And you sitting there still talking about her, but you haven't said anything to Red. Red approaches you and then says, okay, hey, hey, boo. Hey, babe. The nerve, right? You did all that flirt with Kira, and then you want to come over to Janelle and say, hey, boo, hey, babe. But what happens? She let it happen, right? So lesson learned, ladies, pay attention to the man, how the man moves. If he's into you, he's going to show he's into you. I understand it's a game. I understand it's a show. You have to really divide your time up between people. But for him to do that in front of you after you just told him in his face that you were interested in him, that sends a sign that he's not into you like that. That's what that says. So then they get a chance to sit alone, because smartly enough, Phil decided to leave, because he was like, hey, nobody's here talking to me. Nobody here is interested in me. It's time for me to go. So they were smart by doing that. So Janelle talks more with Red. Then I think it was Habibi who was talking to Kira, and Kira realized, okay, she asked him if he was a cheater. He said yes. She said, okay, red flag. I'm done. I'm out. Which is her right to do so. But I hear this a lot. I respect their honesty. I respect your honesty. Respecting their honesty and not willing to give them a chance is your right, is your prerogative, right? But when you respect someone's honesty, give them the reason of why. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just completely just pushing them over to the side. That's why I would have liked if she had a conversation with him, say, hey, I appreciate your honesty. Let me return that in favor and say, this wouldn't be for me because I have a bad, history with cheaters or whatever the case is. I think that would have been appreciated. I think we have to do that a little bit more. All right. So something that I didn't talk about was the fact that Habibi had a conversation with Tequila and talking about, he had a bad experience in a relationship where his woman wasn't performing everything he needed her to perform. So he went out there cheating, right? She said she understood his honesty as well. But she's willing to give him a chance. She's willing to look a little bit deeper, learn a little bit more. And usually when people really respect honesty and can see past it, those are the people who have been lied to a lot in their past, been lied to a lot in their relationship. So to find honesty, even if it's something that goes against what you want, it's still kind of refreshing because you never experienced it before. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. All right, up next we have group date number 2 that was hosted by Aries. She decided to invite Sierra, Jessica, Chris, Herbert, and Quentin. All right, so everybody seemed to be vibing pretty well. Things start off with Sierra asking Herbert if he believes in being intimate before marriage. Usually when someone asks this question, one of the other person is in that conversation is practicing abstinence, and it was Sierra. So because of that, Herbert was like caught off guard. He was like, I need to hear more. Tell me what's going on. And she admitted that she was being abstinent for close to a year, which nothing's wrong with that. People have their own journey, got to go through it. Respect. But Herbert's response, though, give him kind of like a C- on that, because he still seemed like he was interested, but it was kind of like a turn off for him. He said he needed to know more. Usually in these situations where women are practicing abstinence, that means they look like they're finding something serious, or they want something serious before they're willing to give that part of themselves up again. If a man is patient, if a man can take the time to get to know that person without it being something that is intimate, then she's willing to let that part of herself go. So, but that's something that him and her will have to talk about. That may be her goal, may not be her goal, who knows? But that's a hard topic for a lot of people to talk about. All right, so next we have Chris talking to Jessica about arranged marriages. Well, Jessica brought it up, but Chris said, yeah, it's true. My brother was arranged, parents were arranged, blah, blah, blah. He said even he was arranged, and he had 2 twins to come, and he had to choose between 2 twins, which was not the right way to say it. You had to choose between a pair of twins. It's not 2 twins, it's a pair of twins. All right, so that was interesting for him. Him and Jessica seem to be really hitting it off. She's trying to find more ways to like him, which I think is okay. It's pretty cool. So really interested to see how that journey turns out. So Quentin asked Aries a question, and the question was about dating someone who's younger than you. There's a 10-year gap. That's a good question to have, because what you don't want to have is questions about immaturity, questions about this is why I don't date young guys, and this and another. So he asked her, have you ever dated someone with the gap that we have before? How did it go? Whatever. She never said yes to that question. What she did say is that we're both older, we're both mature, you're a grown man or a grown woman. Okay, that type of speech. Keep that same energy though, because don't have that older vibe and then talk down to someone who is younger than you just because they're younger. It's not a cool feeling. Now, what was funny to me is that every time Aries started to move, when she was talking to Quinn, I kept thinking she was going to spill that wine on that couch. Eventually, that sofa was going to be full of wine, but she seemed to have it under control, which is cool. I think when everyone decided to leave, I think it was really smart of Quentin to hang back. He said, okay, I'll help you clean up. That was a very gentleman move to do. So I like that. He helped her. He gives her an opportunity to talk to her more, interact with her more. It's also letting her know that you weren't ready to stop the conversation, that you weren't ready to leave her presence. And that's something that women really do like, so kudos goes off to Quentin for that. Aries said the right thing when she said, okay, I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for your call. I'm waiting for you to let me know when you want to see me again. That was dope. I like their interaction. It's a very grown and mature interaction between the two of them. So looks pretty good so far. All right. So after this, there was a mini date that took place. So one with Habib and Sierra, and another one with Lee and Quentin. Habibi, to me, he just seems like he's high all the time. I don't know if you guys have seen this or witnessed this or feel the same way. He seems like he's on something. He seems like he's either on something or he no longer cares about this journey. He feels like people don't understand him, or he's not being recognized, or whatever the case is. I think that Habibi is crazy when it comes to how he talks to these women. What he says means everything, because he's used to just being able to go out somewhere and getting his way. But as far as keeping a whole relationship together, that's what he's going to need some help in doing. Being a musician and going out into the world and one night here, one night there, it's easy to pick up on a woman, but to keep something sustainable and long lasting, it's going to be hard for him to do because he doesn't have that type of experience. He's cheated in those relationships, right? So Sierra trying to give him another chance talking to this man. He hauls off and says, "Your mama ain't shh." And I'm wondering, why would you say that? Even in a joking way, it never comes off in a joking way. You can't talk about anyone's mom. So it's okay that you're a jokester. It's okay that you like to, make people laugh. That's a good quality to have, but it's the type of jokes that he makes that is off-putting to women. He has to understand that there's a level that he can't go to when he's dating someone. It's jokes you can tell your friends, your homeboys, and you can go deep, and another guy may understand. But when you talk to a woman, you have to talk with a certain level of finesse to the point where you're not doing anything that's going to make her feel the way that he made Sierra feel, which was horrible. Like, it shocked her that he would say something like that. You know what I mean? So that was just no good. It could turn her off. She's ready to go home. She got there and wanted to know more about him. She left there not wanting to know anything else about him. So that's how quickly things can turn around when it comes to dating. One date can mess up everything. Guys, we gotta be careful how we talk to women. I've said it a million times. So Lee and Quentin, they went on an AKA date. She had on green, he had on pink. It was really interesting how that went down. So I think it was a good conversation that they had, because Lee said it up front. She said, "Hey, I don't want to date anyone that's in my profession," and I get that. Everyone has rumors about them. So she even brought it out. She even said, the same legs you like, other guys come in on. I get a lot of attention. Is that going to be a problem for you? Quinn's answer, very mature again. I'm starting to like Quinn, man. Just to have his response, I'm just starting to like this guy. So Quinn gave a very mature response, saying, "Hey, you're my woman. You're my woman. I know you got legs, whatever the case is, as long as you take care of me inside and outside the bedroom, yeah, and I'm taking care of you, then we don't have any problems." Very mature answer. But what Lee needed to hear, and I'm just saying this from a male's perspective, this is a side note to Quinn. A woman tells you that, like, you have to be careful about the men that approach her. You got to hit her back with the same energy. Okay, how do you feel about women approaching me? How do you feel about women being in my inbox, in my threads, hitting on me? You got to let her know that you get that same type of action. She's going to have to be understanding of you like you're understanding of her. Even if you don't get that type of action, Quinn, you got to come with that energy, brother. You got to come with the energy, because if you don't, then what it's going to do is going to say that she has that upside as far as the attractiveness goes, as far as the pulling people in goes. But if it goes both ways, if she feels it goes both ways, then she feel like she has something that's worth something. I know it's crazy, I know it's twisted, but it is very true. A woman does not want to be with a man that no other woman wants, and a man does not want to be with a woman that no other man wants. So you have to present it that way. And I think you missed an opportunity to do that, Quinn. All right, so next up, the ladies get together to deliberate to find out which one of the guys they want to send home. Now, they had a lot of reasons for sending other people home. Red, they said Red was boring. They said Habibi, he doesn't talk to women well. He's just too silly all the time. It's a lot that they had to say about a lot of people. They even said Quinn just dates white women. And I think that's so wrong to do to somebody, and Quinn telling Tequila that, "Hey, I'm not into anyone here right now." He said that because that was day one. He didn't meet anyone. He hadn't talked to anyone yet. So of course he doesn't know who's into, but she reworded that to fit this conversation. And I don't think that was cool of her to do that. Speaking of Tequila, her and Janelle getting into it, I tell you, that was just not the most proud moment for me. Every show, it has to be black women turning up against each other. I just don't like it. I mean, we got Love and Hip Hop. We got, Ready to Love now. It's all these different reality shows, Housewives, where we have our women, our queens to always combat each other. And they're combating over a guy. Janelle, again, like I said, I don't like her behavior through this episode. I think that she was just pushing buttons with everybody for no reason. Like, if you got it, you got it. You don't have to talk bad about another woman for a man's attention or, anything like that. To me, it comes off as if Janelle was passed over before, and she feels like the only way she won't get passed over is if she points out flaws in other people. And I don't think that's cool. Like she said about Carol, like she said, her bag was fake, mine is real. Like you don't do certain things like that. Like if you got the energy, you got the juice, you got the juice. So Tommy asked, like what kind of man would say something like that to somebody? Well, Habib said to her about her body, which I agree was way out of reach. He should not have done that. But when he asked that question, she answered with their top men, like it wasn't necessary to go there. You know what I'm saying? So, Janelle is just as guilty as Tequila is. I think he just got pushed out of proportion, but it seemed to settle it out at the end. So that's good. Then we have the elimination dates. We had Sierra having a conversation with Habibi, and then we had Kira saying something with Red, and Red, Kira, they was going back and forth telling, with Lady Star, this, that, and the other. Red, his eyes kind of turned red, like he was afraid of being eliminated. So I'm happy he got to stay versus Habibi, because Habibi just has a lot more growing, maturing to do before he's ready for something like this. But you guys let me know what you think. Put it down in the comments. Let me know. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys watching, supporting the channel. Please continue to hit the like, subscribe button, leave a comment. Your subscriptions mean the world to me, so continue to hit that button. We're trying to get these numbers up, you guys. Until next time, it's your boy Black. Peace.